Everyone has special memories when it comes to cartoon shows, whether you grew up on Barbie or grew up on Rugrats and SpongeBob. Everyone will start to remember their childhood shows as great. Even when they go back, those memories of nostalgia flood back. It's not like every show was great either. Fanboy and Chum Chum wasn't the best show, but I remember it fondly. So what is the difference now? Why do you never hear about new cartoons or kids shows? Well, it honestly kind of started when social media picked up and got more traction. Less and less people started to tune into network shows and opted for YouTube or some streaming service. And at around that time, the switch from the idea of cartoon shows for everyone to cartoon shows for kids happened. Not to mention Dan, but honestly, when Dan left the scene, shows didn't feel the same. They lost most of their character and what made shows great. Compare Drake and Josh to Game Shakers. One feels like they actually grow as people, and one feels like the show tells us they grow, even though they didn't. The writing on newer Nick shows feels uninspired. It just feels like they came up with a plot, and instead just fill the rest with dialogue and a gag. You also have the fact that no one wants to be cancelled. If they write shows like how they used to, with the stereotype characters they used to use, the shows wouldn't be aired. I don't want to sound like a hard right idealist, but every network and writer feels like they have to fulfill an agenda, whether it's about sexuality or race. Instead of making a strong new character, they do role replacements, when they could just include everyone and not acknowledge a difference to progress an ideal. My most notable change I've seen in a show that goes from serious to for everyone is Ben 10. The first Ben 10 was absolutely amazing. The way it starts off showing you how each character is different and are able to fight in their own ways. Ben doesn't sound like he came straight out of kindergarten. He sounds like an actual preteen. Yes, the voices are similar, but I can just hear it. The animation in the new show also looks lazy and cheap. The transformations are definitely not as good as the old ones. I don't get why these networks think people want to watch brain-dead cartoon characters. Well, my next point is the demographic changed. A more uncensored era where you didn't have to put a message into a show. In that era, if you had a good idea, that idea was put into production, as is. Now, if you have an idea, you have to think, how can I be more inclusive when there's no point to it? If you want to make a fun show, make it. You're not going to satisfy everyone's needs. If you stick to one demographic, like Ben 10, who used to be for 10 to 16-year-olds who are athletic or hyperactive, if you go for multiple demographics, your shows seem scrambled and the ideas feel unexplored and broken. I get that the new age of kids are more sensitive. Well, it's not really even the kids, it's the parents. The parents are so sensitive. Like that whole Bluey thing, where some dude dressed in Bluey PJs took a pic with kids, and the only complaints were from the parents who were mad they didn't put a Broadway show on for them. It's a goddamn hot dog restaurant. Now that I think about it, I haven't seen any kids complain about shows. It's always the parents mad about a show being racist or sexist in some way. I miss the days where my 3rd grade teacher would roll in that TV and tried her hardest not to cuss out the students as she struggled to get it to turn on so we could watch the original Grinch. Going back to Ben 10, it's not the only show like that. Look at Teen Titans Go. We went from a double S tier to actual dog shit. I get it has an audience and it sticks to it, but why change it so drastically? All these new animations look lazy and don't try to do something new. I love Invincible, but come on. For being so big, it has the laziest animation, but their story is at least good. Shows also do what I'm going to call babyfication, where they change a show to make the characters look younger. My biggest examples are Tom and Jerry, Blue's Clues, Ben 10, SpongeBob, and obviously Teen Titans. I really don't understand why they changed it to that. It's not like anyone was complaining about the old art style. If anything, it got tons of praise. Making these shows look younger makes the story feel less unique, and each episode almost feels the same. They don't hit those deeper meanings like they used to. Like the last episode of Teen Titans was depressing and emotional. You wouldn't get that anymore, and it sucks.